most of the experts. And if you want to read anything about labor migration since 2015, it's impossible that you will miss some information about this patent system. Actual patent system was designed like the previous one in order to liberalize the migration policy to contribute again to migrant workers who are working illegally. And by selling these patents, by selling these work patents, the second objective was also to generate an income which will support the migration system and its infrastructure in the big picture. And when we look at the system, it's actually quite simple that migrant workers who come to Russia, they apply for work permit, and they were given this patent little card, and on this card, for this card, they are paying 1,200 ruble monthly, and that was it. Between 2010 and 2015, but at that time, it only gave permission to work for individuals. But after 2015, it gave both for individuals and for enterprises. However, name change came with other name change because the price setting authority was given to regional authorities. Therefore, they could set the price from 0 to any number they want. And when we look at the big cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, where most of the labor migrants from Central Asia are going, that monthly payment is gross almost 3 times in Moscow, almost 2 times in St. Petersburg. Adding to that, they have to buy medical certificate and complex text, which includes examination of Russian language, history, and legal system. Therefore, the cost of this, getting the patent for a year long cost them almost 45,000 ruble, which is equal to 2-month average of their salary. Instead of getting this patent and paying all this money, we can see that there is a significant amount of labor migrants again started to work illegally or just decided to not to come to Russia. But the first one is sounds more logical because, as the expert says, they need to work, they need to earn money, and if they can't find it in the first place in their country, they will come Russia again. And when we look at the difference from the Russian government perspective, the patent system is working quite well for them because it brings additional income. Although the number of migrants coming from Central Asia is reduced almost 30%. When we look at the income, we can see that there is additional almost 4 billion ruble entered in the first half of the Russian government budget, which will be used, according to Tevers, to improve the systems and improve infrastructure and service system for labor migrants. And this is one of the official price list for each region. As you know that in Russia there's 86 regions, and you can see here almost 60 regions set a quite different price according to their needs and according to their regulations. And if you look at the Altaysky Krai and Penzinsky Oblast and others, like you can see that 1,568 is actually, if any region did not set any price, this is the minimum limit they should set. Therefore, you can see the price for Kryvyi Oblast and Kostyumsk Oblast and other regions. And when we look at which region set is price highest, is Chukotka region. For what reason or what's the explanation? Chukotka. It's in the northeast region. Yeah. And their price for monthly payment is twice higher than Moscow, and it's almost 8,000 ruble. And we look at by numbers, the impact of these current events to the migration flow. We can see on the left side the old system, that standard quota system, and on the right side we can see the new system. And according to new system, we will be calculating the migration flow only by this patent system, because Migrants, especially coming from Central Asia, are not required to buy only patents, and they cannot apply to quota system because quota system is abolished for them. However, this quota system is actually working for other nationals. For example, if some migrant worker wants to come from Europe, he has to apply for standard work permit, and difference between them is actually new system gives more flexibility for employees to apply for a job with this work patent. However, in the old system, employer has to apply for a quota to the Federal Migration Service and wait a set of quota divided for his own company. But in this system, it's been said that the number of corruption cases is quite a lot because when the government set a number of quota, for example, let's say 1 million, most of the big companies actually getting the major piece and after that distributing by small pieces to other companies. So their major companies actually in the old system become an intermediate in order for small companies to earn their quota permit. But in the new system, it actually answers this problem, but the new system actually comes with some problems due to the increased price. When we look at the number, you can see that in the old system it was quite static, that in 2001 there is absolutely no difference between 2011 and 2014 in total number and in the Central Asia total numbers. But however, in patent system, it actually increased significantly, almost by 300,000, 500,000 per year. But when we look at the 2015 August numbers, we can see that there is almost 25% decrease due to those two main reasons. First, increased bureaucratic work. Second is the increased cost of the work permit. And we look at the remittance as the second issue of my presentation. That remittance is quite an important topic if we are researching the migration in Central Asia. And when we talk about the remittance, is actually in 2015 it take a period card effect from the international events and from these new regulations in the migration system. As we can see that the depreciation of ruble actually is the major factor decreasing the dollar value of the remittances, because migrant workers are paid in rubles, and when they're sending their remittance, they're mostly using either ruble or converting into US dollar. But when they convert into US dollar, they are losing their earnings by almost 50%. And therefore, it's expected that it will also contribute to the macroeconomic consequences to the region countries where the Tajikistan and Kyrgyzstan, which was most dependent on these resources. And when we look at this, the graphics change in the remittance amount, that Central Bank of Russia is actually providing quarterly statistics and quarterly statistics about the remittance, which actually sent through transaction operations according to countries. And when we look at the change in remittance amount, we can see that in 2013 there was 13% increase, 14% increase, and 17% increase respectively for these three Central Asian countries. But when we look at the 2014, we already see a trend to decreasing trend. And when we look at the latest data, which was provided by Central Bank of Russia, in the first quarter of this year, we can see that in dollar terms, remittance amount are shrinking almost 40% for Kyrgyzstan, 44% for Tajikistan, and almost 50% for Uzbekistan. And when we look at estimations of World Bank and EBDR, their reports, we can see that in their calculations, they are estimating approximately 40% drop in dollar value of remittance for Central Asian countries, and in their example, they give Tajikistan therefore as the most dependent country. I put the statistic over there. However, they are expecting a relatively increase in 2016 and after 2016. When we look at by amount, we can see also the decreasing trend that for Uzbekistan last year they almost sent more than 5 billion. They almost sent more than 5 billion euro, $5 billion to their country. But when we look at the second quarter of 2015 and comparing with the last year, we can see that there is almost also 40% increase. Is another statistic that showing the volume of the remittance. According to another report by EBDR, that EBDR is expecting, due to the economic slowdown in Russia and diminishing remittance, is expecting as international countries economic growth rate in 2015 will be around, will decrease to 3% for Kyrgyzstan, 3.8% for Tajikistan, and to 7% for Uzbekistan in 2015. And from even these reports, we can see that remittance is not only a specific topic, and it's not only a specific topic in the migration area, but it is also international consequences, and it's also affected by international events, which occur mainly in Russia, since most of the remittance in Central Asia is coming from Russia. When we look at the currency structure of remittance of Russia, we can see that they made actually a survey during this year between 2012 and 2014. And in their survey, they find that 43% of the migrant workers are actually sending their money in ruble and 51% in US dollar. Therefore, it's actually also breaking a stereotype that all of them sending US dollars. But we can see in 2014 a trend towards the ruble, where the share of the ruble increased to 54%, however the share of by sending US dollar decreased to 38%. And euro relatively stayed at the same rate, but we need to see the again latest statistics for 2015 and 2016 in order to analyze that whether there was a change in the structure, that whether they moved more towards the dollar or moved towards the ruble in sending the remittance amount. But for now, for these statistics, the latest statistic we can find is for 2014. And talking about remittance, there is also such issue that remittance is decreased, as we said, as I said, that remittance in dollar terms increased approximately 40-45% for these three countries. When we look at source country and local currency, local currencies are all local currencies of Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan are also depreciated against dollar. Therefore, we can say that this decrease due to depreciation could be deducted from these numbers, and their depreciation in total amount could be around 25 to 30% at maximum. And this is pretty much most of my presentation, where I focus mainly on these two topics in my paper, in my research too. As conclusion, we can say that there's two major events. First one, new change in migration law. Second one is international events. Second one is the impact of international events to the remittance number is actually severely going to affect the remittance amount which sent to the home countries, to the families of the migrants. And we can surely say that the purchasing power of the families back home will also decrease respectively to these numbers. And when the Russian government decided to replace the quota system with this work pattern system, they expected similar results as the 2007 policies, but increasing the price is actually work for the government, but it's actually hurting the Central Asian migrants and their earnings. Therefore, there are two conclusions: either they are not coming, or they again turn into the shadow market, working under shadows. So we cannot say too much positive things about Central Asian migrants in 2014, because it was pretty much a negative year for them, both in economic and legal aspect, and it also make more difficult for them to work legally in Russia. With these words, I'm ending my presentation. If you have any questions, you are welcome.